Okay, welcome back. Now it's time for us to cut our background fabric. And this is my background fabric right here that I'm going to use. And she wants this cut in full with the fabric strips. So we're not going to be cutting the fold off or anything to shorten the length. We want them to be full strips. So I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing this. To get it ready for the ruler, we want to fold it over evenly and make our edges even. And this is our scraggly edge here, so we'll go ahead and even that up. It's part of this exercise. So I've got my fabric folded neatly, and I've smoothed it out. And I'm going to cut on this line to even my edges up. Now, this first cut we're going to do is a little different than anything you've done with the Stripology ruler before. She's asking us to cut in 1/4 inch increments. And you look at the ruler and you say, well, how would I ever do that? Everything on here, all of these slits are 1/2 inch apart. Well, there is a way to do that, and that's part of what we're going to learn in this class. So the first thing we're going to do is make our first cut on that 0 line to even up our fabric. Okay. Let's make that first cut. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and leave that there for now. Now, I uploaded a little cheat sheet for you to the Facebook page, and you should probably print this out and stick it in your file. This table is also found in the Stripology instructions, but it's, to me, I think it's just easier to have it handy, maybe in a notebook where you don't have to dig so deep to find it. You know how those instruction things get tossed or stuffed away places where we never see them again. The first thing you want to do is look in the first column and determine what strip size you're going to use. So we want to cut 1.25 inch strips. So the directions tell us to make our first cuts on these lines, and then we're going to move the ruler and make the second cut. So let's go ahead and make our first cut for our 1.25 inch strips. So she says here 2.5. So we've already evened it up, so we're good. We're going to leave that there for now. So we want to make a cut at 2.5, and we want to make a cut at 5. I'm in that first column of numbers there. I'm going to make a cut at 7. And I'm going to make a cut at 10. And I think that's going to give us enough because we only need 7 strips. So we're going to lift up the ruler at this point, and we're going to take away our scrap fabric right here and discard that. That's a scrap. And then the instructions tell us, if you look at the ruler, I'm going to lay it up here against the fabric so you can see. This is our 0 line right here. And then to the left of the 0 line, we have 3 1/4 inch markings, and they're dashed lines. You can see them there on the fabric. This reminds me when I was a little kid and we used to do the number line thing, like in first grade when we were learning math, or second grade, and you would jump to add and subtract. Well, this is like when we got into 3rd grade, I think they taught us about negative numbers on this side of 0. So what I say is, these are, negative numbers. And so what she tells us to do is to move the ruler to the right and have that freshly cut edge right on that -1/4 inch line. Just like that. So we've taken the ruler and we've shifted it over. We've shifted the ruler to the right so that the cut edge is to the left of that 0 line. Okay, and this is all written down on this sheet, so it's okay. And you can replay this video over and over. That's the beauty of this virtual learning. You can replay this over and over and rewind if you need to. So we've made our first cut, and now we've moved the ruler 1/4 inch to the right, and we're going to make the second cut. Okay, so we're going to cut at 1, and we're going to cut at 3.5, and we're going to cut at 6. And we're going to cut at 8.5. Okay, so let's see what we ended up with here. Here's our 1.25 inch strips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. Uh-oh, made a boo-boo there. And see, but we can fix that, can't we? Let's show how to fix that, because that might happen to one of you guys. So here's 5, so we need 2 more. So what we're going to do is we're going to line it up to the left again, right? We're going to put that fresh cut on the zero, on the -1/4 line, and we're going to make a cut at 1, and that should give us number 6. Okay, see how I did that? And then to get number 7, we have to take this little strip out of the way. Hey, we all make mistakes, don't we? And then we're gonna, and I think this one's already, we had already cut this one correct, so we were only off 1, so we only had to fix 1. So now we have our 7 strips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got our 7 strips that are 1.25 inches wide. And so when you come back, we're going to do one more subcut on this, and then we'll be ready to sew. Okay, we'll see you in a couple minutes. Make your cuts. Happy sewing. Okay, we're going to cut some more on this background fabric. And the next cut we need to do are 1-inch strips. Okay, so we need to line the ruler up again on that 0 line. I'm going to use the same edge I had before because it's already freshly cut. Let me fix this here, make it just right. Okay, all set. And we're going to make 3 1-inch cuts. So this should be easy enough, right? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 3 1-inch cuts. And let's take these 1-inch cuts and we're going to subcut them into 33 10 by 3 or 1 by 3 inch rectangles. So let's lay these out real quick here. Lay them out really neatly and straight. I tell you, the more you use the Stripology ruler, you just really realize it is capable of so many things that I can't even think of, and I'm sure the Stripology experts haven't even thought of it. I think it's just a very versatile tool to have in your arsenal. Sometimes I do mark my lines with sticky notes or sticky tape so that I don't cut in the wrong spot like I did earlier. But we all make mistakes, right? That's why we all learn. Okay, so I'm going to take my cutter and I'm going to even that up. And then we need to cut 1 by 3 inch rectangles. So here's the 1 by 1 inch strips. So we're going to cut 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. All numbers divisible by 3. And so that gives us our 1 by 3 inch rectangles that we need for later on. These are the spacers that go in between. These are scraps. These are the spacers that go in between the blocks. Okay. So now we're going to take our strips that we cut before, the 1 1/4 by width of fabric, and we need to do some subcutting on those. So let me get those laid out and then we'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to do the final subcutting on our background fabric. So we have these 7 1.5 inch strips or 1 1/4 inch strips that we cut earlier, and now we need to subcut them. We need to make some 9-inch strips out of them, and we need to make some 2.5 inch rectangles out of them. So for the table runner, I need 20 9-inch rectangles. So I did a little math in my head, and I decided that that would be from 5 strips. So if I can get 4 rectangles from each strip, 9 inches, that was 36 inches worth of fabric, then I need 5 strips to make my 20 rectangles. So I've taken and laid out 5 strips right here on the table. And I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line it up on that 0 mark. We're going to cut those selvages off. And then I'm going to make a cut at 9 and another cut at 18. And these long 9-inch strips are going to be used with the colored strips that were left over from our first cut to do the strip piecing, make strip sets out of them. Okay, so here are my 9-inch pieces. So those are ready to roll. So we have some other 1 1/4 inch strips left over. I think there's 2 of them left over that we need to do a subcut on. So I'm going to lay those out like so. Get them evened up. What will we do without this hobby during these times? I tell you, I have sewed so much. I have changed more rotary cutter blades in the past 3 months just because I've just been doing so much sewing, finishing up UFOs and making masks and starting other things and learning how to make videos and everything else. So it's been good. It's good to learn new things, right? Okay, so here we go. We're going to make another cut here. We're going to make this initial cut to cut those selvages off. And then what we need to cut now are 2.5 inch rectangles, and we need 24 of them. So I'm going to cut it 2.5 and 5 and 7.5 and 10 and 12.5 and 15 and 17.5 and 17.5 and 20, right? Yeah, 20. High level math, you know, what can I say? So now we've got all these 2.5 inch rectangles. We probably have more than we need, but you never know when you're going to mess up, right? Okay, so let's go over to the sewing table and summarize what we're getting ready to do. Okay, see you in a minute.